to have our first meeting and to have our first trainer to be here with us. It's a privilege to have our trainer. I'm so excited about the few time we'll spend together because I know how productive is going to be in every side. And I know to our trainer, which I will introduce shortly because I don't want to take much of our time. I want our trainer to have more of the time so that he can express himself fully and we can benefit from his wealth of experience. So this is our first live training series, and we plan to make it a bi-weekly training where we invite scientists of great minds and we draw from their wealth of experience. And towards the next one that will be coming up, it's going also to be wonderful. And I'll work alongside with all the group leaders to put that together. And also our guest trainer today also has been of so much great help to us. I must say, because I have to also acknowledge that place. We got to a point while we're pulling this meeting together where we could not make an headway because of the challenges that faced us. And most especially the officials that we contacted, they didn't give that much of support. They raised more problems for us than the solutions. But we pulled all together, and with the help also of our trainer for today, we were able to get wisdom to navigate to the point where we are today. And I also want to appreciate our trainer for that. Thank you so much, sir. And to everyone that has joined the meeting also, I must appreciate us for making ourselves available. I know it's a sacrifice, and I know it's also a privilege to have great minds like us together, because I know we will always benefit from each other. That's the joy of it. So I welcome us all. So our trainer, without any further ado, I want to introduce our trainer for today. Our trainer is in the person of Dr. Odi. I got the name correctly, sir?
Yes, you're correct. Odi.
All right. Odi. Yes, I want to be sure. Odi. Thank you so much, sir, for that. In the person of Dr. Odi, and I must say, before I do the introduction, I must talk about how efficiently, personally, I've seen Dr. Odi to be in the few times that I've known him from afar. It's just now that we got talking that I get to know better that what I've seen from afar was not really blurry, but I'm seeing it even more clearly now. Dr. Odi is a faculty member at the University of Nigeria and the United Nations Youth and Education Alliance. He's a focal person there. He is also a global interprofessional collaboration mobilizer for resident African resource person, the consultant brand sustainable advisor also. He's also a project sustainability assessor, and he holds a PhD in environmental management from Fudan University in Shanghai, as well as he also completed a second PhD in zoology from the University of Nigeria. He has over 2 decades of experience in human network development, and I can say that I bear witness to that. He is the president of the Organization of African Academic Doctors, a growing network of African PhD holders, entrepreneurs, and researchers from a variety of fields, dispersed across more than 70 countries around the world. And I can say that's very true because he's very efficient, and I'm privileged also to be part of the subunit. Dr. Hodi is a member of China's Shanghai Yangtze District Government's International Expert Think Tank, that is IETT, on lifelong learning, and serves on the board of Next Level Educational Foundation International and Dr. Insight Africa. He is also a vice chairman of the Asia Alliance of Learning Organizations, STOL Economic Committee. Dr. Hodi has contributed, he contributes, because he's still contributing, he contributes in designing solutions for global ground challenges related to partnership, youth and women development, co-benefit for climate change, mitigation and adaptation, sustainability indicator development, sustainability assessment, and sustainability remediation, all of which are addressed through sustainability linkage principles. and values-based approaches. Dr. Hody is a frequent guest lecturer at universities, major conferences, and events around the world on a variety of related issues. Dr. Hody always brings passion to what he does, whether in academic or in the industry, helping people find value for their time. With just an acknowledgement, can we have now Dr. Hody to take over from this place? You're welcome, sir. Please have the stage now and enjoy the time. We are hoping to have the time of questions and answer by, let's say, by 3. By that will be 10 p.m. over there, Virgin time, 10 p.m. Yes. All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mobolaji Awogbetu Johnson. I'm excited to be with you all today, and many thanks also to our brother from Ghana who he has been working with, and other people who have contributed to making this a reality. And I want to very particularly also acknowledge the beauty I've experienced for as he mentioned, the short time we've interacted very closely. You know, sometimes you want to, you encounter people and you know that this person is, you know, a committed person who make things happen. So I'm really excited having worked with him with this time, and also on the long term, we have discussed that we'll be working, you know, to push this vision forward, and for several other things that we hope to achieve for the world around us, because we're very much interested in providing solutions for the world around us. Of course, we know that there are many problems out there, but any problems that have ever been solved anywhere have been solved by people. Solutions don't, you know, jump from anywhere. People put heads together and solve those problems. And of course, we know that the process of solving the problems, that is collaboration. And I'm excited that we are here together this time. People are joining from different parts of the world. I am aware that a lot of people, you know, international students who are trapped back home as a result of the pandemic, they are all very eager and, you know, showing their passion and their willingness to engage at this time in order to ensure that they are able to utilize their time well. So I'm excited that this is happening, and it, of course, most likely, many people are not aware, may not be fully aware of where this is going to lead. But indeed, I want to let you know ahead of time, because I've experienced it before. We've done things of this nature previously. We have an idea of the problems that usually arise. We have, you know, encountered those, and we have been able to solve them before. So we are hoping that it's going to be a smooth ride, but definitely not a perfectly smooth ride, because there is no such free ride or smooth ride anywhere in the world. Some time ago, I was talking to someone, and I said that you know, somehow every time anything that's good is going to happen, there are challenges that will come, because those are part of the processes that make the story sweet. So I'm excited that you're able to overcome the challenges you faced in order to put together this event. The fact that we've come together and it has started is a testament to the fact that some challenges have been overcome already, and we're going to ride on the already overcome challenges to achieve other bigger things as the time unfolds. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure once again to get into this today, and we're talking together. We're looking at dynamics of international research and entrepreneurial collaborations. It's beautiful that we have a good number of people already logging in, and beautifully. We're going to get things done. I want to let you know that as well, beyond people who have joined just for the purpose of maybe to learn or to collaborate, we also have people in the house who have joined as potential people who are going to help us with the process of when we get into the different fields, because I'm just in one research field. I'm just in one aspect. There are other entrepreneurs who are able to drive things, also other researchers, PhD holders who have got the full experience and have been able to, make things happen previously. As I'm just looking at the list of names, I'm excited to see that they are here, and we are going to make big things happen along the line. So thank you very much for coming on board. And so dynamics of international research collaborations. It's led today by the international students at University of Chinese Academy of Sciences, UCAS. It's beautiful to see this happening, and we are making progress right into it. So the introduction. The reality that faces us at the moment, and which has always been there, which is always going to be there. Every time every time any human being is alive, the realities that face us would always be that we want to do whatever we can to enhance the quality of our lives. Every human being, whatever they are doing, whatever they are thinking about, they want to attain and sustain an enhanced quality of life. That's the whole picture of everything you can ever think about. All the quarrels you find in the world, all the wars that have ever been fought, all the joys that have ever been generated, all the opinions that have ever been held by people, all the efforts, all the research, all the entrepreneurship, all the invention, all of them are focused on nothing else but to enhance the potential of humans living more effectively in their environment, living with more balance in the environment. So these preliminaries, of course, and it's also all the global efforts that have been made, at different times, we've seen evolution of efforts by different entities, intergovernmental organizations like the United Nations, putting up systems, that help to bring people together from different walks of life in order to work towards development of solutions that should give people an enhanced quality of life. Hundreds of experts were brought together at the point in 2015 or previously before that time, when the SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, were to be launched, and they took a long time to develop indicators. A lot of indicators were considered, and these indicators were looked at from the perspective of how do we ensure that humans everywhere are able to live out their full potential, that humans everywhere are able to live happy lives, they're able to live fulfilled lives, are able to enhance their quality of life, and they brought together 17 big goals and also looked at the various aspects of it, looked at the indicators. They provided indicators that we could use to monitor if we're making any progress at various points. And before the SDGs, there were different setups. And the one that was just before it was the MDGs, Millennium Development Goals. We found that some of one of the biggest lessons they learned from Millennium Development Goals was that there was need to have localization of all the aspects. Localities around the world needed to have the potential, needed to have what it takes to create the solutions that they need within their spaces. And that's why it's really interesting that today, as we're having this discussion, we're not talking about what we are looking towards to some government to do for us, or to some authority, maybe a university authority to do for us. we're actually talking about what we want to do for ourselves based on the fact that we've seen the needs that are facing us. What can we do for ourselves? That's the concept of localization, that the local people, those who have the problems, are the ones to solve it. So today, as we're gathered, we are going to be looking at our challenges. We want to be able to develop solutions by ourselves based on things that we've seen that has worked. And then we'll be able to also innovate, create new things around it in order to get the best from it. And the fact that, the evidence that is on ground at the moment that citizens of emerging economies, developing countries, must think paper to product. They must think differently. Those who are from emerging countries, emerging economies, cannot afford to package their educational thinking or their training or their capacity development or capacity building. They cannot afford to look at it just like some kind of an end in itself. Rather, they must look very carefully. When you do research, when you do entrepreneurship, when you do research, you cannot afford to stop there. If you are from a developing country, or you are, of course, emerging economies, you can't stop at just doing research and publishing it. You must take the next step, as we're going to see subsequently, to develop a product, to develop a service that is connected to what you are doing. And while you're doing that, you want to ensure that you are working with other people, you are collaborating with other people. And it is a pleasure that today the world has evolved so beautifully and is getting to be more and more, a global village. And based on that, we are able to constantly remain in touch with people all around the world. Just like at the moment, technology has helped us. We're able to, to log in from different parts of the world, to get involved and to start this process of the training. So so for the training we are going to be engaging in, which we are opening up today, this is just the opening session of the training, the hands-on processes that we're going to be going through over the weeks ahead. So the features, there are specific features that we're going to be looking at, which will guide us so that every individual who is getting involved will know what they are getting involved in. Today, when I look at the names of people who have logged in, many of them are names that I didn't know before. But in the next few, next few weeks, I'm going to become familiar with Abubakar Abdul Wasid, Akani, Alex, Anne, Bikram, Janawali, Chancel, Chimeze. Okay, so I'm going to become familiar with many of these names. Ibrahim, of course, I've been interacting with Ibrahim previously, Ramos, and Elslam, and I can't mention all the names, but I'm just mentioning these to say that today some of the names, I can't even pronounce them so confidently, but in the next few weeks, we are going to be interacting, and let me let you know ahead of time that many of the people who are in this event at this moment, you're going to become very close friends. Several months ago, I also made such statements to many of the people within the Organization of African Academic Doctors, which is a center where we are doing a lot of things at the moment in terms of collaborations, and it's yielding huge fruits beyond what people would know. At the beginning, when we shared these thoughts, we said things of this nature. Today, I'm aware many people are having conversations beyond writing papers, conversations beyond discussions of business. They are talking about families. They are talking about what's happening in their homes. They are building trust. They are building, confidence in one another. And this is happening with people across different countries all around the world. The beauty of this is that in the years ahead, when they want to do anything together, the password for transactions they are going to do in the future will just be, to listen to the voice. If I make a call, okay, maybe I want to do something in any country. If I make a call and I hear the voice of the person I have known, I've been working with, based on the voice I can hear, I will be able to make, transfer monies or transfer, or do whatever I needed to do at various points, because I am able to know the person just by listening to the voice. So one of the things I have been using for measuring my resources in the Organization of African Academic Doctors is how many people can how many people can call me on phone, and if I don't look at the phone and I don't know who is calling, just by listening to the voice, I can, I can know who is talking. So the more I meet with people, because one of the things we do constantly is to spend time in meetings discussing potential challenges that need to be, to be resolved. And many of them will turn into research projects and we will begin to work on them. So one of the ways we check is how many people can I, if I call them, I can. So this is an asset. It's a huge asset. And beyond those papers we have published, we are able to enjoy, interactions beyond this level, and several other beautiful things happen along the line. So it's long-term, it's all in. We are not, as we're gathered together today, several other people are going to join us subsequently. I'm aware that groups have been put in place where we are, we are breaking down into smaller groups. So all these people who are going to join along, we are all in. We are going all in. It's not a hit and run kind of thing. We are getting involved such that people from all around the world can get so strongly interlinked, such that they are able to drive things and create solutions for their communities, for their countries, for their governments, for their localities, because they have been able to come together to drive things along the line. So one other feature is that it is mutually beneficial. Anybody who gets involved is going to benefit something, because we're going to show you subsequently the type of groups we're going to be forming. It's mutually beneficial interest groups. It's going to be based on interest. When we were setting up OAD, we had some challenges because we set up some groups that were based on departments. So we would say, okay, this person is in engineering, so come together in engineering. But later on, we have challenges in that many people who were in engineering, we are not able to the research interest still varies, still varies very much compared to what some other people would do. Even though they are in engineering, they are not able to do similar research, or they are in economics. There are variations. So we'll be forming, groups that will be mutually beneficial. Anybody who gets involved is going to get something. Another feature is that it is regimented. It is regimented, sustainable, collaborative turnaround timing, SOCTAT as we call it. It is clearly timed, and the number of people per group will be limited to ensure that over time, each group is going to publish, for those who are going to be involved in, research collaboration. For those who are involved in research collaboration, they are going to publish the number of papers of the number of people in the group. For example, if there are about 5 people in the group, as I've discussed with Mobolaji, we should aim that in the next few months, using the methods we've put in place, we are going to be able to publish also 5 papers, such that each person becomes a first author, and it is rotated, constantly. So it's regimented, it's sustainable, and the turnaround time is fixed, so that everybody can benefit fully from it. And we must take note that during the process, nobody is necessarily going to be, you will not need to wait for anybody to come to remind you If agreements are made, you wouldn't need to have anybody remind you to say, okay, it's your time. It's time for submitting the paper or submitting, the project write-up or submitting the idea that we are discussing. Okay, it's your time to do this or to do that. Nobody's going to remind you. Every group, we're going to have leaders. We're going to have a leader. We're going to have a secretary for each group. And each of these will be able to monitor what's going on, and we'll be able to drive along the lines to ensure that we're able to get results. So you see that a team of collaborating armed robbers, when they go to steal, they never wait for anybody to remind them of their roles. If they say, this is where you need to stand, this is where you are covering, watch to make sure that nobody is coming. That person cannot afford to say, oh, sorry, I got busy doing something, so I wasn't looking. And then for that reason, because they know the implication. If he doesn't watch, it's as good as the whole operation is going to crash. So when we are doing this, we must be as people who understand the implications of what we're doing. What are the implications? Many of us are from developing countries, and our countries need us very much. Your country needs you. Your community needs you. Many of us also may come from, some within your country, there are rural areas, and you may have, you may have relatives in those rural areas. They need you. So when you are working and doing whatever you're doing, you have this at the back of your mind that I have people who need me. I have people who I need to help. So you are absolutely alert, because you know that it has implications if you are not fully alert. There are implications which you will not want to live that way. So as we begin this series of collaborations, take the following 9 hours concomitantly. If you do, you can never go wrong. Why do we need to publish? Why do we need to do the various things we need to do? It's because it's going to add something to us. Why do we need to drive entrepreneurship in our communities? Why do I need to think as an entrepreneur while I am setting up my research? Why do I need to work so hard to identify the problems that need to be solved? Why do I need to, or how can I get these things done? There are things, frameworks on how to drive this, to develop by Together People International. These principles are right here. The first one is you must always think of your region. Your region, that's where you come from, just as I mentioned. And these are connected to United Nations SDGs, in that there is need for localization. So when you are designing your research, when we begin to design the research we'll be designing, even in this place, or when you begin your entrepreneurial process, remember that you come from a place. It is very important, because people who come from a particular place are the ones who should be most suited to solve the problems that come from that place. Therefore, people who come from Africa cannot wait for their problems to be solved by people who come from Asia. Even when you need collaborations, as we are discussing, you need collaborations, and you cannot solve those problems all alone by yourself. You cannot solve those problems all by yourself. No part of the world is sufficient in itself. And we can see that playing out in many ways. Countries are interdependent because there are various unique selling points or unique selling propositions, as usually discussed in the business parlance. Every business has its unique selling point or unique selling proposition, UPS. And every time a business is designed or is being designed, if the designers are able to identify that this is the problem we want to solve, and this is why our own design is better than other people's design, this is what we do that other people are not doing, That is what's going to give a special place to those people, because they have been able to show something. Therefore, they are able to get a portion, a segment of the market, and they can be sure of remaining in business for a long time. Then you need to think about your realities. Your region is connected to your realities. Do not think like other people. Do not think like just a general world. Do not think like, for example, if you're a professor and you are from an emerging economy or from a developing country, you cannot behave like professors from other well-developed countries or established countries who have solved many of their own problems. You can't think like them. When you are designing your research or when you are setting up your entrepreneurial processes, you are aware that the challenges you need to resolve are more than the ones that other people who have some working systems already established for them need to resolve. For example, if you want to set up certain businesses in certain parts of the world, you first need to set up other accompanying systems. For example, people who are setting up in China, logistics business is doing very well. The infrastructure is in place. It's flowing. People are running things in that way. But if you want to do logistics in some other part of the world where the roads are not yet well paved, or where the rail service is not available, then you cannot take as cheap cost as what is obtainable in China. And or in other parts of the world where there is, where the infrastructure has been put in place already. So we'll find people trying to set up businesses in Africa, in several parts of Asia, and they literally have to create systems because those systems at the moment do not exist. So your realities, take them into consideration when you're designing your research, and think about that every day. There's an exercise we do in OAD. We keep announcing and we keep informing people. Every day, take a few minutes to think about your people, Think about people in the localities around where you come from. Think about them. If you think about them, you think about their realities, think about what they are going through at the moment. Even as we are in this meeting, you can think about what, there's a picture in your mind about your place, about where you come from. If you keep thinking about that, it will help you to possibly design research that can also contribute, even though at the moment you may not be in charge of your research decisions. The fact that you keep thinking about it empowers you and makes it that when you have the chance to do all those things, your mind will have already been sufficiently developed. Now, your resources, what are the resources at your disposal? What are the natural resources in your capacity? Are you able to identify problems very easily? What do you know? What are the resources, the innate resources within you? And then, of course, the resources around you that you need to reach out to. Then your responsibilities, what are you supposed to achieve? What are you supposed to achieve? What are the problems out there? It is your responsibility to prepare yourself with a settled mind to solve those problems. Know your responses. I was having some conversation recently with some people, and I say the way you respond to the things around you, the very little things around you, they determine your ability to succeed in business. If you decide to go into business, and of course, I was mentioning previously that every human from a developing country, from an emerging economy, everybody should be an entrepreneur. Even if you're a researcher, you should be an entrepreneur. You should have some capacity, something you can do, which you can be paid for, something you know how to do well, which you can be paid for. And you should develop yourself in it. You can set it up as a business, you can set it up as a company, and you can run it subsequently. So these responses, the way you respond, your ability to identify the problems around you, that will help you to know that you're able to generate some results. Next will be to generate some results with the responses you are able to garner. And then the results you create will breed respect for you. And that respect also is the respect you can also transfer to other people. And then you have the relationships along the line as you are making progress. As you're making progress with this should be number 7, this should be number 8, and this is the number 9. As you're making progress with the design of your research, or the progress you're putting forward, or the working together, collaborating with people, you are going to find yourself in relationships. You are building relationships, and those relationships, in many occasions, turn out to be more important than even the original reason that brought you together. Today, you are coming together because you want to design some research, you want to put some things together, but along the line, you are going to find those relationships that are going to be built. You're going to find them even more beautiful, more effective, more useful than the initial idea that brought you together in the first instance. We have seen it happening over and over again within our community, within the organization of African Academic Doctors, and we keep encouraging people, and people are seeing the benefits already and are constantly driving towards that. And of course, rest. You must be able to rest constantly as you move yourself through the various stages, as you drive yourself to get results. You must also know that you must rest. And of course, it's at the end of the day, we all are going to get rested in death, which is the end of the cycle. And you have the opportunity to, while you are alive, be able to support other people and help them get the best they can be also around themselves. Now, the Research Entrepreneurship Collaboration Nexus. This is very clear. Anyone who can sniff out research gaps can also be an entrepreneur. It is absolutely important. If you are able to find research gaps, as you can see, this kind of the center of where the whole thing starts. It is concentrated, it is real, it is heavy, and there are several layers in life, in the society. There are several layers in the society, and anybody can plug in at any point to create value. And based on the value you create, you will be able to get the benefits that should accompany it. And the flow, the beginning point, there is the innate desire for enhanced quality of life. This is natural with every human being. And then there are barriers that try to stop us from pursuing or attaining higher quality of life. And there are the research gaps are found based on these barriers, these things that make people uncomfortable. These are the things that lead to identification of research gaps. And they are also the same things that lead to identification of business, business opportunities, things that people can set up as businesses. For example, the people who set up PayPal, they were able to do that because they found that people were increasingly doing business with one another across countries. And the challenge of payment, because of the differences in currencies, the challenges they had made it difficult for them to get involved, to make payments across the various locations because of the currency differences. And they were able to identify that as a challenge. They did some research. So the same places where research gaps come from, also that's where business ideas arise. And we can always constantly watch out to see that research gaps lead to research questions. Research questions lead to the methods, there are existing methods. The question, how can I get this done? How can this question be answered for this problem that exists to be resolved? Then there are existing methods that can be used. Each method must align with the question that needs to be answered. And the data is collected using the method. It could be in the laboratory, it could be in the, in the society using other tools. And there will be analysis. As it's analyzed, it needs to be interpreted to give meaning to it. Then the writing happens, the publication happens. And of course, all these various things we could organize a 2-hour webinar on each of them, but we are just mentioning them as things that usually happen. But most people stop at the point of publication. But we are saying that anybody who is from a developing country, emerging economies, you cannot stop your research, you cannot stop your experience at publication. Always think about the entrepreneurship part of it, because that is the next step. And that's where most of these other things happen. The bigger portion of the society are actually within the entrepreneurship circle. The research circle is just at the center, provides some responses to questions, and then distributes it all across the various parts of the society. And entrepreneurship is where, and it's what provides us the enhanced quality of life. And when the quality of life is enhanced to some extent, we want more, we want a further enhancement, and the cycle continues unending. Results of collaborative research in OAD, it flowers, indeed it fruits. Results of these abound, and you can find it on this website, on this link, web link, which we're going to provide, which you can see subsequently. You'll be able to see the papers we've been able to publish, along, of course, just a few of them. There are several of them which are not there at the moment. We haven't uploaded them because they've been published recently. And so you'll be able to see it on this when you see our website. And having this in place, knowing that, yes, we are able to see this research, and you see that how it unfolds, the coming together, the people who are involved, the interactions that happen amongst the people, the results that show. For example, recently, one of our colleagues, just within this year alone, they have already submitted 5 research articles in SCI journals. And of course, we know that many people who are students, they need some of these papers for graduation, or for training themselves, or preparing themselves for other things. For example, those who are not yet PhD holders, if you are able to make the publications that are impressive, professors will look for you to work with you. I'm aware of some of our people. You can intentionally create the kind of response you want to get from the professors and things of that nature. You see, you can set it up and drive it intentionally, and we've seen it happening, and that's what we want to do with the groups that have been set up. We want to be able to, these are MBIGs formation, mutually beneficial interest groups. And then we're going to be going to implementation. How do we implement? How do we get the papers rolling? And with that, I'm welcoming us to action time, which is also the point of discussion, the point of conversation, where you can raise your thoughts, where you can mention your thoughts about how we can get things done from the angle of getting the job done. So yes, it's beautiful to come to this point. So for the questions may roll in and we can have conversation. And this is the time of the real engagement. Of course, we are not doing the practical aspects as I showed in the previous slide. In this slide, these things are going to be guiding us. We're going to be running through this. Many of the research we'll be doing during this collaborative process as it unfolds will be reviews. And some of these steps may not be necessary, but we'll be able to pick up at the various points to guide the specific points of identifying what are the gaps, what is the current conversation in this field, what are people talking about. Many people who are not aware of their capacity, you're going to discover your capacity your academic capacity through this process. It's going to be hands-on, it's going to be practical, it's going to be rolling day by day, and you'll be engaging constantly, having meetings to have these conversations. And this cycle is going to continue until we are going to be seen in the years ahead to see people who are going to be able to take it up to the entrepreneurship level. And at the moment, we already have, venture capital companies, about 150 venture capital companies, working with the Organization of African Academic Doctors, such that when we are able to identify people, researchers, if you've done research and you're able to show that it has traction, you've shown traction, you've shown that, you can get buyers, we can link you up with relevant, venture capital companies who are willing to invest, such that at this point we can say confidently that money is no longer an excuse for you not to set up a company. Money is no longer an excuse. Money is no longer an excuse for you to stop just at the point of your research and you say you can't go further, you can do something further. And we are encouraging us to particularly think about our people when we are doing, wherever you are in the world, it's not a problem. But as you're setting up your research, as you're doing the various aspects, remember your people, remember the people around you, remember the people back home, because they are the ones who need the solutions you create most, and we'll be taking those subsequently. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll hand over back to Bobolaji, the moderator, to guide us through the question and answer period. Thank you. Yeah, if you're talking, we can't hear you. Okay, you need to unmute yourself. Okay, so okay, so while we wait for the moderator, we are just going to take the next steps. Yes. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, if you have questions, you may bring them forth at this time so we can have conversation. Or if you have comments, if you want to make some comments, we can begin.
All right. Sorry, the guest trainers. Thank you so much. Sorry, I was trying to press my phone, but something came up. I don't know why it was not coming up at that time. But now okay. I have full access over it. Thank you so much for the presentation. It's really wonderful. You showed us a particular link over there. We'll be glad if you can send it to the chat so that those that want to check it out will be able to check it out.
Okay.
Yes, so that those that it will be easy to click. Yes, exactly. The African Academic Doctors. Yes, so that people can actually see the publications that has been done as a result of this collaborative work, and it serves as a good evidence.
Okay. So, yeah, done. Right. I just sent it.
Oh, all right. Thank you so much. All right. So it's time for questioning. Thanks to everyone that has been available till this time. It's time for questioning. Please, if you have any questions as relating to all that has been discussed, and maybe as a group leader or those that are the article leaders or those that are in charge of the training, also, please, you can ask any relevant questions, and the guest trainer will gladly answer them. And if you have any questions relating to studies in China and staying in China, for those that might be the first time they will be entering China, I believe our guest speaker also has spent some quality time there and will be able to make some good advices and good necessary directions. So please, it's time for questioning. And thanks so much for our guest trainer for helping us to efficiently manage our time. We are certain of another training session. There will be enough time more than this. All right, please let the questions start running. You can unmute and ask your questions, and you can send it to the group chat also for those that doesn't want to use the audio one. All right. All right, some are already sending in some chats to the uh to the chat box. Yes, said you did a great job, sir. Thanks for the presentation. Very impressive. All right, I want to ask a question, sir.
Okay, please.
All right. Seeing that we have different scholars from different countries that will be collaborating, uh, you've talked about each and everyone not giving the lapses because it will gladly affect the other one. Is there any way the group leader also can help in this particular way to bring about effectiveness in the collaboration? So that the timeline will really be effective.
Yes, absolutely. For group coordinators and secretaries, what we normally do in OAD is don't do only group engagement. If you're a group leader, you must connect privately with everybody in your group. So relationship is what takes care of many lapses. So if you build relationship amongst the people who are working together, and somehow they are in touch, they are constantly in touch with one another. The implication of that is that their minds are constantly activated to know that, yes, there is something going on. I have something doing with this person. And because of the bigger picture of what they want to achieve, the interests they have, they understand that, yes, they know they need to get this done. So the group coordinator, please, you must connect with everybody one-on-one and relate with them beyond the paper, relate with them beyond the conversation. If it is for an entrepreneurship engagement, relate with them beyond your meeting times. So like some of the things we normally do, we reach out to people. I reach out to people. Our other leaders also reach out to people just to say hi to them. You know, we live in a world that is, everybody is so busy. I can tell very practically how you know, many people have been very much you know, they have felt, you can feel their gratitude. You can feel it so warmly, as if it is exuding from the phone. You can feel their gratitude that somebody reached out to them. Somebody, you know, wants to know how they are doing beyond the normal conversations. Now, what this does is that it creates the bond that helps such that you don't even need to do too much reminders. However, group leaders, even though we are saying that you don't need to do too much reminders, or it may not be necessary if everybody picks up the picture. But if it happens that there are people who are not picking up the pictures, you go after them. You want to help them. You want to help them. You don't just want to slow, but you want to make sure that things happen. And there is no reason for us not to get results. We are not accepting anything less than results. We must get, we need to, just like we see on that web link, we want to see web links of publications popping up almost every time in OAD. We have people descending, we publish this, and everybody's rejoicing with them on the group, because we have big groups. We have at the moment we have 3 big groups. The first 2 are 500 each. The third one is 480 now. We also have a group for the African master degree holders and master degree scholars who are ongoing master degree students. And then we have the one for PhD holders. And we are working together, collaborating, creating things. We have 46 research groups. Now, the beauty of it is you cannot afford to stop halfway. You know, some of the problems, when you begin to interact more and more, people are going to get to have clashes. Something is going to happen that you're going to be angry with someone. You get angry, you get unhappy about what someone has done. And you know, somebody's going to say something you don't like, and it's going to hurt you. So it's a huge opportunity that we're together. When we are together this way, we have the opportunity to offend one another. So we become offense partners. You offend me, I offend you, we mend fences and we move on. There is no stopping. You can't, for example, sometimes some people say, okay, somebody, we are not compatible with this person, is causing trouble, so I just need to avoid this person. No, in the project we are getting on, you don't avoid anybody. You're not allowed to avoid. If somebody offends you, tell the person. So we agree ahead of time. Let the person know that, okay, this thing you did, I'm not comfortable with it. Yes, and we are telling everyone it's an agreement we need to enter into. Everyone should be aware. If somebody tells you that they are unhappy about something, don't say, how can you be unhappy about that? It's not a problem. Actually, take note of the fact that that person has very different realities compared to you. There may be some things that the person has experienced previously, which is making them, to be uncomfortable about that thing. Don't look down on anybody's opinions. Respect one another's opinion. If somebody says, I don't like drinking water, or I hate to drink water, or I don't do this, don't say, how can that be? Just recognize that we are from far different places, and that makes us so different, and those differences are going to bring clashes. So the leaders, the coordinator, the secretary, you cannot let anybody run away. So as we are starting, there's no running away. There's no exit. When you enter, there's no exit. The exit point is that, yes, we've achieved a lot of results. And after we have done this level, we enter into another level. Many professors in OAD at the moment, we began to interact. Some of them were not professors at the beginning when we started to interact. They became professors. We are still going on. So the collaborations continue. And I want to tell you, it is such a gold for you to have publications and you have 10 countries or 5 countries on one paper. Sometimes we in OAD, we allow people to publish maybe up to 15 people on one paper, 10 people on 8 people on one paper. But in this project we're doing right now, we want to intentionally ensure that we are able to allow people to have the sustainable turnover time or turnaround time, so that people can get a lot of benefits from it. So please, group leaders, you have a great job to do. Wherever you are, if the time difference is also going to be a challenge for group leaders and for the people who are working. But the issue is that every country, everywhere you are, you're going to have 24 hours in each of those days. And you must be able to check the group. Make sure you check the group every day to know your tasks, and keep in mind your timing. Of course, group leaders should also be able to do reminders, but don't wait for that. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, sir. Thank you for that explanation. I'm sure after this whole presentation, we will ensure that we cut that particular place for group leaders to listen to over and over again, because I'm certain that the success of each and every group, as the group leader has more to play in the success of each and every group, because to bring each and every one together from different countries is going to be a bit challenging. But once the group leader can have the experience and the technical know-how, it will be very much easier. All right, thank you so much, sir, for that. We have 2 hands being raised. We have Ola and Ramos, Disney Ramos. So please kindly ask your questions. And sir, there's one question on the chat. Please, can you kindly check it off, sir? Or should I read the question? Yes, there's one question of the participant. Yes, there's one question on the chat.
How can we collaborate, whether most of students are still waiting for China? Or maybe the person was about to say when most of students.
Yes, when most of the students are talking about the differences in
time difference. Yeah, yes. So it seems like I already answered it to some extent. Every time zone is still 24 hours. and there will be overlaps. We are currently collaborating with people in the US, in Germany, in Australia. Germany is 7 hours ahead of or behind. I think it's behind. We have people, there's a paper we're currently working on energy, renewable energy. We have one of our collaborators who is in Germany. We have people in Australia, 3 hours difference for China. And we also have people in Canada, 15 hours difference. But the issue is that, within the cycle, there will surely be an overlap time, like the one that's 15 hours difference. It will be the previous day. The time in 7 a.m. in China is 4 p.m. at British Columbia, where we are collaborating with some people and some other parts of of Canada. So whichever time it is, even though you are not able to get into China at the moment, your time zone is not a big problem. In fact, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. What we just need to know is that we have a job on our hands to do, and that if you publish now, it is an asset for you, a huge asset, and you will be very happy with yourself in the years ahead. It will make it easier for you to get a postdoctoral research fellowship for those who are PhD candidates. You'll be able to land your postdoctoral research fellowship very easily if you want to do it, or if you want to go into business. You'll be able to point to the publications you've made, and you can use that as an entry point for some business conversations to say, I'm an expert in this field. This is what I've published, and it's published in so reputable journal, which is verifiable, and things of that nature. Yes. So I think that's response for that question. But if you're not if you're not satisfied with it, you could make further specifications, and I'll be able to give more input around that.
Yes, thank you so much for that, sir. Thank you so much. Please, those hands that were raised, please, you can kindly answer your questions, please.
Yes, I'm here. Good evening to the guest speaker. Thank you very much for enlightening us and taking us through this training. We really appreciate you. We have tapped so much from your wealth of knowledge and experiences. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You made mention of the fact that we have to think entrepreneurial when we are writing papers or when we are doing our research. I happen to be a grammar. Okay. All right.
Grammar.
So I'm thinking, yes, grammar of Chinese language.
Okay.
Linguistics per se.
Okay.
To be specific.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Apart from academic purposes, when we publish a textbook for it to be sold for people who are as well learning that language, or probably when we get funds from governmental organizations or from some institutes to do some publications, to do some research. Apart from those two avenues, I'm trying to wrap my head around, being able to be entrepreneurial while we do what I do. So I know definitely there must be something I'm missing. So that's why I'm asking the question now. So probably you can help us to shed some light on it. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. You're welcome. This question always comes up. In OAD, we have what we call paper to product initiative. And we have held several events under that initiative, because we divide our sectors into various aspects. So under the paper to product initiative, this question was also asked when we had this conversation, that somebody asked that, is it every field that can also have an entrepreneurial aspect? Can a business be made out of every field? And the answer is yes. Even the so-called basic research areas, the whole called basic research in the sciences, basic, like physics or chemistry, or those basic aspects, about basic science and the fundamentals of scientific processes. Even those ones, the response is yes. And I want to use your specialty, grammar, linguistics, as an example. Just on my head at the moment, right in this place now, we can design a business that you can run based on your research. It's a Chinese grammar or something like that. Actually, you could, when you are doing your research, you are doing you need to think about how do you do your data collection. In fact, when you were talking, you said something like, I said that when we are writing our papers, when we're publishing, actually it should go back to at the point of design, at the point of research design. When you are designing your research, think, as you're doing your literature review, think, in fact, if you just type it into whether it's Google or it's Baidu or Bing or whatever search engine, you will be able to see that there are people who are making money from the output of your research. Your research, the research you publish, there are people who pay subscription, because this is how journals operate. You should be able to know about journals that need article processing charges for them to publish. The governments, companies pay subscriptions to them to assess the research results that researchers produce. Researchers produce them and publish them and take off their eyes. They are done. That's all they want to do. But then people subscribe to those, find the information of what they have they have published. They will design businesses around it. So for grammar, when you collect, maybe you collect your data through questionnaire. So what method do you use for your data collection? Ola?
Yeah, it's questionnaire.
Great, yeah. So that's survey generally. It could be questionnaire, it could be interviews, it could be all of that. Now you are talking to real people. When you do that, you are getting information from real people. Depending on the questions you ask, they are going to tell you certain things based on the research question you intended to answer, which of course will determine the design of the questions and how it is structured. So for somebody who has done grammar, you should be very clear in your mind that at the moment, you talk about Chinese grammar or whichever language, whatever language, you should be very clear in your mind that there are people who want to, everybody who is doing whatever they are doing, they're going to be doing it using language. And each of those languages have grammar in them. So based on the information you're going to get from the responses, you can actually see how you can design a school. You set up a school. You set up a school, and you are able to design special inputs based on what you have found from your research. You can design special ways of learning the grammar. And you can put up, and you begin to, you need to employ other people who have done similar things to teach in that school. So you are already making money. Now, the truth is that many people who get involved in that, they may not be thinking about school, about setting up a school by themselves. They may be thinking of finishing and going to teach in a school that has been set up by another person. So you, as a person who is from a developing country, when you are doing your grammar research, think about how you can set up a school. And when you are thinking of the school, don't think of the school as a building that's in a particular place where you need to get people in. Rather, think of it as an online school, such that your customers are not going to be from only one country. Your customers can come from anywhere in the world, because whatever business you're setting up, you must make it in such a way that it is, it should be global. In this our generation and in the years ahead, any business you are setting up, if you cannot think about the global perspective, the global component of it, how people from beyond your region can access it, then you are limiting yourself to a great extent. And now, apart from school, you can think of developing software. And you may tell yourself, oh, I'm not into software engineering. You can, once you have developed, once you know what you want to, because for example, in the issue of artificial intelligence, machine learning, which is what those softwares use, or apps, they use machine learning, which builds into artificial intelligence. You see that what happens is that the same data you are collecting from real people, if you can get that data over and over again, and you have a huge volume of it, you can use big data applications to process it, so you can get people who are going to design the software. You pay them. Once you have the idea, based on the fact that you already have the data by yourself as a linguist, as a grammarian, you're able to assess the data, the real data, which is going to be used for artificial intelligence companies. So you can continue doing your data collection. You can set up a data collection company that collects grammar data over a long time, and you can sell that data to artificial intelligence companies who want to deal on development of apps or softwares that will be able to demystify the grammar of that language. So in that way, you see that you can easily set up a company, you can set up a business based on the fact that you are in grammar. And beyond that, you could also think of it from the perspective of setting up a consultancy. You can be a consultant, set up a company that provides consultancy services to governments, to universities, or to international organizations that are into collaborative engagements. So there are universities from around the world do a lot of things in terms of collaborations. They do writing of memoranda of understanding. You can set up a consultancy company that is able to provide them services because of your capacity, because of the capacity, your language capacity and the grammar aspect of it. You can become a wordsmith. If you're a wordsmith, you're able to put things together in a way that captures people's attention, and it can access the minds of the people. It's not just about making sentences, but about packaging sentences, choice of words, putting them together in such a way that it can get into people's minds and settle down. We've seen this happen, over time. One person may say something in one way, but yet if another person says that same thing, using different set of choice of words, it generates different results. So Ola, don't tell yourself that you're in grammar and then you cannot be an entrepreneur. Everybody can be an entrepreneur. Anybody from developing country, anybody from an emerging economy, you cannot spend your life doing research alone. You are shortchanging yourself. You are against your village people. You are against your community. You are against your country if you focus on research only and you don't think about entrepreneurship. Countries around the world, it's entrepreneurship that moved them forward, not filling everywhere with professors. We all cannot be professors. We all cannot be in universities. We all cannot be academics. We all cannot be researchers. We are losing a lot of intelligent Africans all around the world, or intelligent Asians all around the world, intelligent people from different parts of the world, South America, many of them are focusing, okay, I'm a professor and that's all. They earn money, and when you become old, what happens? Because a time is coming. If you're working for a university, the time is coming. They're going to tell you that they have targets that you're supposed to meet. As you grow and you grow and grow, like I know that there were things I used to do several years ago that now I can't do them anymore. I can't keep driving the way I used to drive. So a time is coming where you're going to be winding down. When that time comes, will you still be relevant? If you have been able to set up a company with the knowledge you've been creating, the knowledge you're creating is enough to set up companies. So if you don't do that, you are going to get into a tight corner. Because when you retire, like I'm aware, some regimes, they have difficulties with the issue of a pension and all those things. You don't need to struggle with those things. If you're an academic, you have been a professor over time, you shouldn't retire and then you are waiting for your pension as a means of survival. You should be able to set up something that is independent of you. What I'm saying to you is also what I'm looking at, and I'm not it's not something too far away, and it's possible, and people are doing it. Yes, please. Yes, there's another hand that is open. Okay.
Yes. Thank you very much, Odi. Odi, I'm telling you, so impressive, your presentation, and it's not the first time to see your presentation. I saw so many your presentation, and all of them you really surprised me. Actually, what I have is not a question, it's about I want to comment about what you mentioned. Oh, by the way, before do my comments, I want to introduce myself. I'm Disney Ramos from South May and Principe. It's a small country in Africa, West Africa. I'm doing PhD Business Administration in Tongji University, Shanghai. By the way, we are in the same city, but unfortunately, we didn't have time to meet yet. And during this time, COVID time is going to be difficult. So in my research area is about CSR, corporate social responsibility. I send in my university, I should write at least, I should publish at least 2 papers and thesis as well. So one, I published 1 paper already in American Journal. And the second one I sent, by the way, today for the sustainability, is about CSR on firm performance. And the comment I want to mention is about, you mentioned about how we have to connect with different researchers because it's allow us to not only get more knowledge, but also to get done more papers published. And it can allow us, it can make us in the future to get the postdoc or get the job. But my concern is about, as you know, as we are PhD, we should focus on one field to be a specialist in one field, right? So my concern is if we connect with a different type of fields, so how it's going to be in terms of to be specialist in one area, in one field. For example, my case, now I can say that I try to be a specialist in corporate social responsibility, CSR. So, but my first paper, it was about self-service in bank performance. You know, in Africa, self-service not so well done as here in China as we see. So I checked how it can influence in bank profitability. So now I try to concentrate more on sustainability. So I want to hear for you, because I see you are more experienced in this field. How to concentrate more in one field, to be more specialist in this field for the future. When we say I'm a PhD student, I'm a specialist in this area, so I know better than someone who doesn't. This is specialist in this area. So this is what I want to hear from you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, in the world we are in now, and the further evolution that is happening, specialists, specialty is going to be more on paper, because if it's about paper publication, you can do specialty or specialization. But then as a person, you need to separate yourself from your research, from your research specialization. You need to separate, you need to have those two as different entities. Like I have a PhD in environmental management, and then the other PhD in zoology. The issue is that I would rather describe myself separately from my specialty. So if I want to do research, I also, in terms of collaboration, just as you mentioned, I want to be able to see, like in your case, in CSR. CSR is a very broad field, and it applies in every business venture. So for you to be a good CSR person, you should be able to understand the language, the business language of different specialties or different areas. Not that you're going to be an expert in them, but being able to collaborate with people in various spaces, in various expertise, will make you a better person in your field. Because if a conversation is going on, you are able to understand it. Because at the end of the day, what is going to count is what are you going to do that people will be willing to give you their money? Why will people want to pay you for something? What will you do for people to pay you? Because the issue is that apart from the solutions you are creating, there is no other reason that people want to pay you. Even though you derive a lot of joy trying to create solutions, at the end of the day, you are using time to do it. Because you are using time to do it, you need to be paid for that time so that you can be alive the next day to keep doing it. You need to be able to have food. You need to be able to have financial security. You need to be able to have a relaxed mind. If something happens in the process of doing the work, you need to be able to, like health issues, you need to be able to go get it done. So the value of collaboration, and as PhD people, why we cannot focus on just one thing as a person, is that the opportunities out there these days are not strictly defined in line, just straight line of specialties. I'll give you a practical example. Recently, somebody within our organization was employed, and the basis of the decision for the employment was not because of his expertise in the field that he was he was specialized in. Rather, a huge percentage of the decision relied on the fact that he was very good at collaborating. He had a lot of papers that had a lot of people on it from different parts of the world. So the university is interested in having him do things that can help them, gain more internationalization. That does not mean that he will not be doing the research that he has been good in. Rather, as he is doing it, he will, they want to be able to gain something from another angle. So the fact that he has another expertise, he has something else that he's good at, that is what strengthened their decision-making. That was what swayed their decision-making towards his direction. So as a CSR person, a collaborative paper you wrote with somebody in environmental management may be what will determine an opportunity that will come out in the future. It could be that those people are looking for someone who is a CSR expert, but also has some knowledge in sustainability management or environmental management and things of that nature. So the fact that you have one paper published alongside other people as a co-author in an environmental management related journal, that will immediately give you an edge. We have one of our colleagues in OAD as well. One of the things he's pursuing now, he said he wants to publish in every important sector. He has checked the needs of Africa. He wants to publish paper, at least one paper in every important sector. He's currently collaborating in energy. He's not in energy related something, but he's doing renewable energy paper at the moment with some colleagues. And he is also doing some trade related papers with some colleagues, because these things are very straightforward. It's research. It's the same method, it's the same style. If you know it in one field, you can transport it to another field once you have that picture. So if you can, if you're able to collaborate with, for him, he said he wants to publish in every important sector. Why is he doing that? He intends to run businesses. He intends to run companies in the future. So if he goes for a business conversation, he can pull up his iPad or his device and say, I publish in this, if something, he can say, I'm an expert in this field. I have written research papers in this field, and he has evidence to show, and evidence that's independent of himself, and it's independent of what he says with his mouth at that moment. So where collaborations will take you, if you are able to go out of your space, if you have the time, go out of your space, publish something. And when you are called as a CSR person, you don't need to provide all the papers you have published with all other fields. When you are packaging your CV, you can package a CV for each case, for each occasion, for each specialty. And then you can have your own private website where you can put everything you have, and you can have segments and all those things like that. In that way, it doesn't make you a confused person. Rather, it gives you opportunity for survival in different sectors, in different spaces. You are able to survive better. The future is not for specialists. The future is for people who know something about everything, and yet they know something so well about one space. So you can be a specialist. I'm not saying people should not become specialists. Specialize in something, but yet be versatile. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. It has been a very well spent time till this time. I'm certain some of our colleagues that were unable to meet up with the meeting, they'll be glad to go over the recordings. And it's just 1 minute to our scheduled time. I know there might be some other questions, but if there are some other questions, please, we can kindly scan the code there to further communicate with our guest trainer, and his email and the code will be forwarded to the group for those that might still have further interest to ask further questions. Thank you so much for your time and for the knowledge that has been imparted. I know very well that there will be actions that back up this particular knowledge, and there will be productivity and results to show forth for it. I'm certain that the collaboration will stand, and there will be joy for everyone. And just as you said, there is mutual benefit. Everyone benefits one thing or the other. I'm certain that will be achieved also. Thank you so much. And to everyone that has been able to meet up with this meeting,
from the beginning to this time, to those that are joining due to network, and to those that are unable to join us. So we appreciate everyone equally, and we hope to see us next time that we'll be having a general webinar training series. Thank you so much, everyone. Without any questioning or comment, I would love that we round off this meeting for today.
Let me just say something, please. Sorry, I'm saying something again. So please, for those who are from African countries, if you are from any African country, and if you're currently running a PhD, when you scan this code, you let me know that you are running a PhD. If you are running a master degree, please, when you scan the code, please let me know that you're running master degree, and we'll be able to give you some further, some further linkages so that you can also have access to other Africans who are doing the same. Because we've been having a long-term engagement in that regard from that angle. That does not affect what we're doing in this project, but just to help you, you may benefit further. Collaborations never go wrong as long as you enter with good mind. You can never go wrong when you collaborate. Right.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you so much. To everyone, thank you, and have a wonderful day. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, you're welcome.